Hello, this is Dominic Rivera, and this is my Zine presentation about Black Lives Matter. The Black Lives Matter political movement has been going on for like the past decade, so I figured this would be quite easy, and since it's relatively recent, it shouldn't be that hard to get information on this movement. Since if you haven't heard about it, then you must be not really paying attention to what's going on in our society. So let us begin. First off, the Black Lives Matter movement was founded in 2013 when George Zimmerman shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, a young black man that was taken too soon from the world. The movement gained further recognition following the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner, which led to the widespread protests and calls for police reform. The Black Lives Matter movement is a decentralized political and social movement that emerged to address racism, discrimination, and inequality experienced by black people in the U.S. The purpose of this movement is to seek attention towards systematic problems and advocate for police changes to black liberation and criminal justice reform. Following the events of 2013, activists Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, and Opal Tomati used the hashtag Black Lives Matter on social media to gain momentum for the movement. Peaceful protests followed as the cries of the people of friends and family wished their voices to be heard. The movement, fueled by a desire to address the lack of accountability for state violence, had a profound effect on American society. It has engaged a significant portion of youth, promoted feelings of hope and inspiration, and brought attention to racism and police accountability. The movement has also influenced U.S. politics, demanding more accountability and transparency from leadership, and has become a part of national conversation on race. For a while, it seemed like voices were heard and violence seemingly stopped until the world was plunged into chaos by the events of COVID-19. In 2020, police shot and killed George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. It was heard all over the news that the movement unleashed a historic wave of activism across the country, including an estimated 8,000 mass demonstrations in support of Black Lives Matter. It was at this point going forward with how aggressive the cops were getting that some of the people too were starting to get anxious as no change was happening as things got worse. The peaceful protests that once took place were still there, however, it was followed with riots and looting that also took place that the movement started to get shamed for its action. Political movements in the past resulted in violence, but the purpose of Black Lives Matter was to advocate nonviolent protests in contrast to the extreme action the police have taken. However, the actions of a few have had an impact on the overall perception and narrative of the surrounding movement. People across the United States were furious with the racial discrimination with the police and took action, but not in the most respectful or responsible way possible, as looting and riots caused local small businesses to be damaged as they were targeted, which painted the movement in a very negative light. This is the last page. If it could stay open. Resulting in violence is not the best course of action, as from a narrative and ethical standpoint, the purpose of this movement is to promote change without violence. Violence only breeds more violence, as trying to change this cycle is not easy. For future generations, we must be able to express ourselves in a way that is upfront but respectful, but not resentful or violent, as movements like these are made to change the world so that our kids and grandkids don't have to experience the inequality firsthand like generations before. The movement has faced challenges, including economic repercussions from the protests and a shift in public support. While it brought attention to racism against black people, there has been a drop in support since its peak in 2020, and smaller shares believe it has been effective at improving the lives of black people or of any race regulations. The hashtag Black Lives Matter has appeared in over 44 million tweets since its inception, with about 30 tweets on a typical day discussing topics like racism and the criminal justice system. Black Lives Matter has reinforced the ethical imperative of human rights, emphasizing the dignity and equality of all individuals. It has brought attention to the moral duty to combat discrimination and to foster racial justice globally. Overall, the Black Lives Matter movement has had a profound, lasting impact on society, continuing to influence discussions and actions regarding racial justice and equality. And with that, my Zine is pretty much done. Yeah, I like doing this. It was a very fun exercise, very fun project. Overall, yeah, they could have done some things that were better, but, overall, they did a good job. realistically, they shouldn't have gone on violent protests, but, you know, considering what the times was and what was happening, it's understandable why they did what they did. And if many people were happening in the same situation too, they would probably do it, but we all know we shouldn't be doing violence for these things. And ethically, it's not right to promote violence if you're promoting non-violence, you know? So anyways, thank you so much. I emailed my annotated bibliography that cited all my work sites that I used for this Zine, and yes, appreciate this. Hope I get a good grade, and yeah, thank you.